Body, this is Bo Short, and let me just say to all of you, thank you, thank you. Your private messages and your texts were just wonderful and kind, and I so appreciate it. And it's interesting too. I got a lot of requests to, hey, could you talk about vision? Could you talk about this? Could you talk about that? And just a few minutes on this. And so here's what I'd like to do if I could, and if you would be open to the idea. I'd like to share some things with you, and some things that I've written in my books, and things that I've done talking to people all over the world, just whether it's CEOs of large companies, whether it's a group of 60,000 people, whatever. Just some information that might be helpful for you as you go forward. And the first thing I want to do is just talk about something that I experienced when I wrote my first book. And it has to do with vision. It has to do with your vision. And that's what I want to kind of share with you. So I'm going to give you some bigger ideas, and I also want to distill them down to some practical applications, some things you can do in your life moving forward. I don't care if you're 20 years old, 15 years old, or 80 years old. It really doesn't matter. I know people that have not hit their home run until they were in their 60s or 70s, so it doesn't matter where you are in your life if you have a vision for your life. And that's what I want to talk to you about, because when I wrote my first book, I was in my mid to late 30s. I had a guy ask me out to lunch, and I'll never forget, it was in Clearwater, Florida. We went to a Bob Evans, it was a breakfast, and we're sitting there over breakfast, and for about 30 minutes he said, I don't know what, he was in his early 40s, he said, I don't know what I want to do in my life. I just don't know what I want to do. And he started going through all these things professionally he wasn't sure if he wanted to do. And about, 30 minutes into the conversation, I looked at him and I said, well, if I can just be bold and say something to you without offending you. And he said, well, sure. And I said, well, who really cares what you want to do? And he said, what do you mean? I said, it's not about what you want to do. It's about what do you want? You're asking yourself the wrong question. And we have a tendency to ask wrong questions oftentimes because it's kind of how we've been taught, based on what we do in school, what's our next step. And all the time, all of a sudden we find ourselves somewhere down the road where we go, how did I end up here? And that's what happens to a lot of people in their life. So it's not a question of what you want to do. The question you should ask yourself is, what do you want? And then you just do whatever you have to do to get what you want. When I had a traditional 9-to-5 job, I had a great job. I had a great career. And I'm honored and blessed that I had it for the period of time that I did it. But I always had this greater vision for what I wanted to do, what I wanted to accomplish in my life, what I wanted. And so, I wrote it down. I made a list of it. And I recognized that I wasn't going to get it doing what I was doing for a living. That's okay. Some of you do, and I think that's awesome. But for me, I wasn't going to get the things I wanted to accomplish doing what I was doing for a living. So instead, what I decided to do was at night and on weekends, I would do something different. I would work harder in different areas. I would push the ball up a hill somewhere else to another hill maybe. And the problem that people have is they know oftentimes that's what they need to do, but they won't do it. And so when I talk to you about this, I'm going to talk to you very bluntly and very respectfully, but I want you to just hear it with the intention that I mean it. I want to talk to you. I remember a mentor of mine early on told me, he said, you'll never get what you want. You'll only ever get what you picture. He said, so take the things you want and visualize them, see them. Close your eyes and see them. And it really made a profound impact on me because I thought of Olympic athletes. And I thought of how before every event of theirs that they had practiced their whole life for this one moment, they would close their eyes and you could see them, whether they were swimmers or gymnasts or pole vaulters, whatever they did, they had their eyes closed and you could literally see them getting in the bobsled and going down the runway and winning a gold medal every time. It's what they pictured. And that's going to make a lot more sense here in a little bit, but you have to understand that every enterprise, whether it's starting a family, whether it's starting a business, teaching a class, running for elected office, whatever it is, it starts with a vision. It starts with this thing that compels you to do something the average person will not do, can do, but will not do. For whatever reasons, they won't do it. And I believe that the significance of a vision goes to the core of leadership. And so much of what I talk about over the last 30 years has all been centered around leadership, and vision owns the leader. It's the vision that compels them to do things. It's the vision that compels them to move forward. It's the vision that compels you to do the things you do in your life. Sir Isaac Newton said, I have seen so far because I have stood on the shoulders of giants. Newton was describing how his vision extended beyond just studying the things he saw, but it was studying the works of other great scientists. And if you'll follow that thought process, I'm going to tell you three things to do. And if you'll keep it simple and not overthink this, it'll all make sense. But three things just to bear in mind. The first one is this: read books. Read books. Thomas Bailey Aldrich said, "A man is known by the company his mind keeps." Read books. I'll make three recommendations to you. One is called The Traveler's Gift by a dear friend of mine named Andy Andrews. Powerful book, and it will not only set a course for you on a vision, it will compel you to take that next step. Another one is by a friend of mine named Darren Hardy, called The Compounding Effect. The compound effect. And it's just what it says. It's like money in a bank as it compounds over time. Little things you do now may not feel like they make a big difference now, but over time they make an enormous difference. The compound effect. And the other one is by David Schwartz, and it's called The Magic of Thinking Big. And as we step through this, those are three books I highly recommend, but most importantly, I recommend you read books. And you may say, and I get it, you may say, I'm not a reader. Don't think I didn't say that. I remember years ago somebody said, look, you need to read positive affirmation books. You need to read books about relationships. You need to read books of people that had to overcome obstacles and accomplish great things. You need to start reading books so that you could kind of put yourself in that position and see it through their mind's eye and see what they had to go through, and you can bring it back to your life and see how you can do it. And I remember when I first heard that, I didn't want to read books, y'all. Reading books was not like top on my list of things to do. I got through the second oldest college in America reading clip notes and chapter summaries. So I wasn't a big book reader, but I went from not liking to read at all, to reading, to liking to read, to loving to read, to writing books. And years later it hit me. On the other side of everything you do not want to do lives everything you want. Most people don't accomplish their dreams and their goals and their visions and their aspirations in life because they don't want them. Sure, they want them, but they're not willing to do the things it takes to get them. And if you'll recognize it, on the other side of everything you don't want to do, usually the things you resist are the things that will make you grow. They're the things that make you better. On the other side of that lives everything you want. Read books. Just read books that build you up. Read books that make you better. Start with those three books. The other two things I would throw out to you is listen. Listen to, maybe change the music you listen to. Maybe start listening to information that, it's kind of hard to watch the news every day. I don't even give a rip how you voted. It's hard to watch the news every day. Maybe you should change the channel. Maybe you should change the sports channel to listen to something that's more positive, more uplifting. And the truth of the matter is, I know people that will hear that and they go, that's silly. It's okay if you feel that way. That's okay. But it's not silly. It's powerful. And it can make a difference in your life. And the other thing I would throw out to you is the power of association. And it's interesting how we hold our children accountable for certain things we forget to do ourselves at times. The power of association. Read, listen, and associate. Think about the five closest people to you in life. Because the reality is, whether we like it or not, we're kind of an average of the five people in life. Whatever their income level is, whatever their attitude level is. It's not just money, it can be attitude alone. Pick a category. We're usually the average of the five we hang around with. And if you want more, if you want to accomplish more, the thing I would suggest to you is then be around people that have that more. If you want a better attitude, then start hanging around people with a better attitude. If you want to make more money, start hanging around people that make more money. But whatever it is for you, if you want to be a better dad, hang around better dads. If you want to be a better mom, hang around better moms. If you want to be a better partner, hang around people that have good relationships. Because the reality is, the reason it's important to hang around those people is they make you better. They challenge you to be better. When you hang around people with an average or below average attitude level, it's okay if you got a bad attitude. You fit right in. But if you want to be better, if you want to live your best and highest effort in life, then find people that have a better attitude and hang around them, because they'll make you better. They'll make you better. Yeah, I mean, I always talk to people about jobs, and when you look at bosses in jobs, think about it. If leadership, for example, is a scale of 1 to 10, and a 7 is a good quality leader, and a 5, not really so much. You'll find that 5s generally recruit people into the companies that are 3s and 4s. 5s will recruit 3s and 4s because they make them feel better. 7s recruit 8, 9s, and 10s because they make them better. Okay, so association is just like that. If you want to be better, then be like the 7s. Start hanging around people that are 8, 9s, and 10s, and you'll find out how amazing it is how your attitude shifts, the way you look at life shifts, the way you look at vision shifts, the way when I say reading and associating and listening, you go, that makes sense. It just makes perfectly good sense. Think about it in the context of your children, and we expect them to hang around people that make them better. It's important that we do as well. You know, it's interesting, when I speak around the world, I'm amazed by the number of people that come up to me and say, well, they have been taught by their parents that it's a tough world out there, do your best, but if things don't work out, it's okay. And I'm just going to suggest to you that that's not okay. It's not okay. I like it when people come up to me and say, well, you know, I've been told by my parents growing up that if it's been done before, you can do it. That's a powerful message to tell your kids. That can be a life-changing message for your children. I'll tell you what I was told growing up, and I've never forgotten this. Even if it's never been done before, you can do it. Even if it's never been thought of or dreamt of, you can do it. Why not you? Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you've been told by your parents, and you're 50 years old, it's amazing how at 50, 60, 40, 30, 20, we go back to so many things we were told when we were a kid. Those impressions they made on us. If you were told that it's a tough world out there, do your best, but if things don't work out, it's okay, I'm here to tell you it's not okay. You're capable of more. The possibilities for you are endless. Even if it's never been done before, why not you? How many times have you ever seen an invention and you thought, gosh, I thought of something like that a long time ago. Look at it. They did it, Marge. They did it. You know, has that ever happened to you? It's happened to me a million times. But when it happens, what you recognize is the difference is somebody didn't just think about it. A lot of people thought about it. Somebody acted on it. They stepped forward with it. They said, you know, no one's ever done this before. Let's do it. And they did it. Why not you? What makes you so unique that you can't be the most successful person you know? You can. It's there. Peter Drucker, author and well-known business consultant, said, the number one difference between Nobel Prize winning scientists and all other scientists was not the size of their IQ, it was the size of their questions. They thought bigger. They asked bigger questions. They weren't any smarter than anyone else. They just asked bigger questions than other people. And if we could take that on for ourselves, if we could sit there and go, you know something, why not me? Why can't I be that person? Why can't I have a better attitude? Why can't I be a better partner? Why can't I be a better spouse? Why can't I be a better dad? Why can't I be a better mom? Why can't I make more money? Why can't I take my children where they want to go on vacation? Why can't I take my spouse where she or he wants to go to on vacation? Why not me? It comes back to, what do you want? And can you picture it? Can you see it? You know, the truth is, without a vision, we're basically reactive. We think in terms of how to please people around us. And a lot of people are like that. And I understand that. But I'm telling you, if you'll take on the mantle of vision, you'll think bigger than that. It gives you the ability to see beyond your present reality. And I don't care if your present reality has been the way it's been for 5 years, 10 years, or 40 years. Vision gives you the ability and the capacity to look forward and live out of your imagination versus looking backwards and living out of your memory, where you've messed up, where you failed, and we all do, and we all have, and we all will. You're going to fail in life. If you don't fail, you haven't lived yet. You're going to go for things in life. You're going to swing the bat and miss, but the problem is a lot of people who swing the bat and miss stop swinging the bat. Don't stop swinging the bat. You can do it, whatever it is. If no one's ever done it before, you can do it. one of the questions I would ask you to ask yourself is, are your dreams bigger than your fears? Is your vision, and the thing about a vision is you don't have it, it has you. It wraps its tentacles around you, it owns you. It doesn't have to be some grand thing in life. It's a grand thing for your life. It's a big thing for your life. It's a big thing for you. Don't judge your vision by the rest of the world. Judge it by you and your best effort. Are your dreams bigger than your fears? Is your vision bigger than your doubts? Is your vision bigger than your inhibitions? Here's what I'm going to encourage you to do as I start to wrap this up. Over the next couple days, and the reason I'm doing this today is I know you're going to have some fun tomorrow, and happy birthday, America. God bless America. So, for those of us that are here, we are blessed to be here. But what I want you to do is take the time with if you're married, take time with your spouse. If you have a significant other in your life, take the time. If you're single, take some time by yourself. And I want you to think about your life. And I want you to assess your life in the context of, what do you want? What do you want your life to look like? If you could close your eyes, what would it look like? And then I want you to sit down and I want you to get pictures of what it looks like. And I want you to cut out those pictures and I want you to put them on a poster board, and no one has to see it but you. Do you want to go to Italy? Do you want to sit on the Spanish Steps in Rome, Italy, and look down at one of the most expensive avenues in the world? Do you want to dive the Great Barrier Reef of Australia? Do you want to climb to the Christ Redeemer statue in Brazil? Do you want to hang glide 2,000 feet off a cliff in Rio de Janeiro? Do you want to dine on a mountaintop in Australia? I mean, what do you want to do? Do you want to see the world? Do you want to see America? Do you want to just see America on a weekday when everybody else is at work? Whatever it is, write it down. Get pictures of it. What does time look like to you? You want time? Bo, I don't want a lot. I just want time. I want security. I want freedom. I get it. So what does time look like? Does it mean taking your kids to Nag's Head? Does it mean taking your kids to the beaches of Australia or New Zealand? Wherever you want to go. What does it look like? Does it mean dipping your toes in Bora Bora? I mean, it is. It's stunning. All these things I've done. And you go into these 1,000 square foot huts in the middle of the ocean. The water is so clear you can see to the very bottom. And in the huts in Bora Bora, they've got glass bottoms. In some of these huts, you can look right down and see the fish swim underneath of you. So I don't care if it's Nag's Head or Bora Bora. It's what you want. Get a picture of it. If time is that with your children, then get a picture of that with your children. If it's paying off your mortgage, if it's getting rid of credit card debt, whatever it is for you, it's big enough. If it's for you and it's real and it's meaningful, and put those pictures up. And I got to tell you something. If one of your friends sees it and makes fun of you, who gives a rip? Who really cares? Do they pay your mortgage for you now? Do they pay for your kids when they're sick? You can't. You're either going to make changes in your life or you're going to make excuses. And the one thing I would caution you against, and I mean this so kindly to my friends, I caution you against this. Don't be 90 years old and on your deathbed and have your great-grandchildren say, well, Grandma, I knew one day you said you wanted to see the Great Barrier Reef, or you walk the Spanish Steps in Rome, or you wanted to go to Hong Kong, or you want to see the Grand Canyon. Did you do it? Did you do it? Well, no, I didn't do it. Why not? And then you say, well, I wanted to do it, but a friend of mine laughed at me. Because I'm here to tell you, folks, in the context of your life, it's meaningless. There is no banquet. There's no rewards for people that don't go after their dreams and don't pursue their passions and their vision. And I guess the last thing I'd tell you is don't wait. Don't wait. If you've been promising your spouse that you were going to take him or her on an Alaskan Interpassage cruise, it's beautiful, it's worth it, then do it. If you have to work nights and weekends to save up, to scrimp, to save, if you have to give up some things to get there, get there. Life is a mist. It's gone before you know it. It's here and it's gone. And if you have dreams and you have hopes and you have a vision for them, get a picture of it, work toward it, plan for it. Make your dreams come true. Moliere said all men are alike in their dreams. And all men are alike in the promises they make. What makes them different is what they do. And every man and woman out there, I'm proud of you. Your best and highest effort is good enough. It's what you do. Love you guys. God bless. Thank you.